Oh, yeah. We're getting started here in a couple minutes. Thank you for everyone who's joined already. See you soon. Welcome, fellow Xlanders, and good morning, good evening, depending on where you are joining us in the world today. I am Thank Me Later, and I'm here to talk about UPX World. So let's jump right in. If you are new to the stream or new to UPX World is a layer 2 solution for Web3 that's looking to create one platform for all metaverses, dApps, NFT projects. It adds a gamification layer and utility layer on top of those layer 1 applications that are all built on the blockchain. So this morning we're going to talk a little bit about that. I've been working on some slides, and we'll probably have a collaborative session, actually, maybe like a working session as I put together the thoughts on the different layers inside of Web3. We can take questions from the audience and go from there. If you would like to know more about the UpX World project, there are some other earlier AMAs, roundtables, onboarding, so be sure to check that out. Speaking of onboarding, there's still a few days left for the onboarding event. This is for the boarding of the Genesis vessel for UpX World. You definitely, if you have the chance, you want to be a part of that. You will get an exclusive Genesis Xlander role in Discord. This is going to be a permanent role that you will have throughout the entirety of the UpX World project. This is an exclusive role. It will only be available during this onboarding time or up to 817 Xlanders, whichever happens first. So definitely want to make sure you're a part of that. It will be a permanent piece of the UpX World history. Okay, so also I'm going to be throwing in things if you're observant, little teasers like this. Is that your point? There we go. There. So Xlander fashion. So we are going to be talking about some of the larger brand portfolio of UpX World. And one of those brands, which is, kind of an exclusive sneak peek for this morning's broadcast, is Xlander Fashion. There we go. See, I can point. Xlander Fashion is going to be the fashion label for UpX World for our collaborations with artists for clothing and other Xlander accessories. So be sure to check that out if you guys like geez, this Lexus right there. I hope you guys like the logo. We had it made up there. I think it looks pretty trendy. There was a couple different options, but I like the gold. I feel like that sounds, it looks kind of fancy. So I hope you like it. All right. Awesome record. Yeah, you like it? Yeah, I like the background too. Thank you. That was pretty cool. Now, is it ironic that somebody with zero fashion sense is helping create a digital fashion brand? Sure. Okay, you can say that. I have like a maroon shirt and a black shirt. That's pretty much all I have. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to hop right in this because I want to start with share screen. All right. So let's talk about Web3 layers. Now, this is something, I feel like people use the term layers to mean different things. For the purposes of what we're talking about related to UpX World, there is kind of three layers in Web3, if you will. Layer 0 being the blockchain, right? So this is really your technology layer, right? So we think about what the technology that underpins the fundamentals of Web3. It's really going to be blockchain, right? That's from a technology perspective. That's one of the things that's driving forward. I need a new mic. Hold on. I have like 100. Doing some computer surgery. All right, let's see. Audio. Mic. All right. How's that? Is that better? I'm also in a fairly large room, so that might be part of the issue, but hopefully so much better. Sweet. Thank you for that feedback. Because I obviously I can't hear myself, so that feedback is super critical. I really appreciate that. All right, cool. So now let's get back to the fun. All right, so this is our really our technology layer, right? So and this is really the foundation of Web3 in the sense of decentralization. This allows decentralization. I hate this is a big word. Decentralization of assets, right? And money, really, in money as we think about it, because that's like your bitcoins and your crypto, right? So this is a decentralization of assets and money. Um, and so when we think about the metaverses and dApps and NFT projects that are built on top of that, right? So these are all built on blockchain technology. This is the backbone of what is currently in Web3. So when most people think of Web3, this is what they think about. Like these two layers here, you have the blockchain, and then you have the dApps metaverses, right? So this is what actually this creates a UI, UX. Oh my gosh, UI, UX for the end users, right? So this is what creates a UI, UX for users onto the blockchain, right? So at this point here, this is where we're seeing metaverses like Upland and projects like Wax, where they are building platforms, metaverses, and projects to allow the end user to interact with the blockchain. So when you think about that, because there are some people who are super, super talented at the blockchain that can actually operate without this kind of layer and do code. So when you think about from a coding perspective, and maybe I'll add, this might be a good point here, is that here the relationship, actually, I think I'm going to do one of, I don't have a double-sided arrow. That's all right. That's all right. I'm just going to put this here. So this here is smart contracts, right? So when we talk about, oh my goodness, that's not what I want to do. We'll just do a text box here. So smart contracts. So when we're talking about the relationship here, right, it is smart contracts. That's how these get related, right? So when we talk about the complexities of the blockchain and why say, oh, why did my monitor just go off? All right, well, that's interesting. 1 second. I just lost power to my secondary monitor. Good times. I'll just unplug it. Boop. All right. Try that. Okay. All right. Well, that's fun. Don't know what happened there. All right. So let's talk about why that's important. So the relationship between the metaverses and the blockchain is all controlled using smart contracts. Like that is the crux of honestly why developing on that particular layer is kind of difficult, right? Because when you think about how much work, so this is smart contracts, right? Contracts. So the relationship here is smart contracts. And this is a newer technology and it is very cumbersome. The amount of things that you can do in transactions, because it is all blockchain, because of the verification process, it's very slow, cumbersome. And if it's on a chain like Ethereum that can have gas costs, things like that. So it's not super effective to build fast-paced, multi-transaction interactions at this layer. What this layer is really good at doing, though, is managing assets, being able to create and kind of distribute NFTs and crypto, etc. And projects and metaverses like Upland are taking this and obscuring the complexities of the blockchain even further, which is one of the key reasons that Upland is what UPX World has decided to build on top of. So when we talk about this layer here, what the relationship here is, we're actually not going to use smart contracts at all. The plan here is we're going to use connected accounts and APIs. So this is a critical design component to why layer 2 is so critical in the Web3 space. Layer 2 is going to be what really empowers the mass market. So when we talk about, the funnel, and maybe, oh, do I have a funnel? That would be a good one. Let's see here. Um, is let's the amount of people that know blockchain, right, are, a fair amount, but it's still a handful. So when you think about who can actually code directly, no funnel icon, it's fine. Funnel, give me a funnel. Fine. When we talk about who can do this stuff, right, it's very much like this. You have a very small amount of people that work directly on the blockchain. Then you have this pipe here, right? Which, this is us. We're in this pipe. We're the people that are in the metaverse, that are in the NFT projects. This is where we live. But you can see we're still such a small portion. We're so small comparative to what mass market is, right? And you know what? I just realized you probably not even seeing because I moved my screen. Yep. Let me check. Oh, no, you guys are still seeing it. Okay, good. Except it's like frozen. Are other blockchains games building layer 2 models? That's a good question. I haven't seen here, I realized that I was not sharing my screen anymore. I had all kinds of stuff. Here. I haven't seen other blockchains building layer 2 as such. Most of them are building in layer 1, right? So most games are trying to build here. And so if you look at games like Sandbox, if you look at games like Decentraland, and even if you look at dApps, you think of things like Taco or Upland, right? They're all building their layer 1 in their layer 1, which is fine. That's how most people look at it. However, the reality is that this layer 2 is what brings this change, right? So if these are the, tip of the super in-depth crypto people, they can go, they can create smart contracts, they know everything. And that's a very small skill set. It's very technical. There's a lot of overhead. It's still being worked out, but it is critical. And then we're here in the middle, of actually using that. But what we're looking to do with layer 2 is then open that funnel up drastically. Because when we're talking about our connections, we're using connected accounts and APIs, and those APIs allow for really standard development. So once you get to this layer 2, since we're two degrees away from the blockchain, we aren't dealing with blockchain technology directly anymore. We are leveraging the layer 1's kind of usage of the blockchain, and then elevating that, and then they will provide APIs or connected accounts for us to leverage the assets. So as we start to build our standard games, the games that you all know and love, we are building it on this layer two that is safely above all of the complexity of the layer one. But all of that needed to be built in order for this to come to fruition. So this isn't like it's something that's, I mean, it is a new and novel idea for sure, but it wouldn't have been possible a year ago or 2 years ago, before these kind of foundational NFT projects and foundational metaverses came into existence, and with the fundamental change of Upland going to escrow services and APIs. That is exactly what enables this, right? So Upland is allowing the third parties to have the accounts connected, so direct verification and essentially like an SSO, single sign-on, with their Upland account. So now I can link the third party in the Upland account, and then Upland's also providing APIs for the information, like the building information, and then the escrow API, which is what allows UpX World to do what it does. So that was a great question. Let's see here. So that was, and thank you for that NFT artifact. And if you guys know of anything, for sure, let me know, because that will be of interest to me. Okay, so Kira wants to know, so when will we see the first layer two stuff from UpX World, like some games? That is a fantastic question. So there are a couple factors that play into that. One, the Upland Sandbox was set up for the hackathon in Vegas. It is currently down. They are doing some tweaks to the data structures and to the APIs. So right now, developers do not have access to the Upland Sandbox or the finalized Upland APIs. So we are waiting on that to kind of get started officially. Behind the scenes, we are working on setting up the foundational data. So this will be the core data of UpX World from Upland, as well as the data structures for the UpX World metadata, for lack of a better term. And then, yeah, I think we'll see games. I don't want to make too big of a promise, but our plan is definitely within the next month or two, we'll start to see games. And the idea is that it'll kind of be like a flywheel effect. So we'll start out with a couple really simple basic games, which is kind of what Upland's strategy is, I think, with the cars, the racing. So they've released one pretty simple app. They're gonna, expand that out to allow the community to do their races and stuff like that. And there's rumors, completely unsubstantiated, that they were potentially even going to open that API up to allow for, direct kind of configuration of that, which is fantastic for the community, right? That's what we want. We want to be empowered with tools, and for UpX World, that's going to be a key piece, right? As we get all of the Xlander models. So for those of you who might be unfamiliar with the process, so we are in the process right now of getting the gaming assets created, characters, so the Xlander models. We have a bounty, an active bounty out. I actually have also privately contracted a game developer who kind of creates these models for a living. So they are working on an Xlander model. We have an open community call for Xlander models. And don't worry, we're going to need multiple models for the Xlander bodies, but we do need some base ones. So the process for that is, we take a sketch, which we got from the community, we give it to a 3D modeler, they model it, it has to be rigged. And so what that means is, like, imagine a teddy bear. So you get the 3D model is just a big stuffed teddy bear. It doesn't have a skeleton. So then you have to get it rigged, which means essentially put a skeleton in it. And then you have to do motion capture or, automate, animate the actual character for things like walking, jumping, etc. Uh, and the nice thing then is that once that's done, we already have the world, right? So Upland has provided us the kind of the world or the environment uh, for all of our metaphases, right? It's Upland. It's a 3D version of Upland, and so that for that piece, we will actually be taking the GeoJSON objects that are provided by Upland, and that all that is a fancy word of saying it gives us the polygon parameters, so all the corner points of properties, so we can render the properties, we can render the buildings as they appear in Upland. And then we place the Xlander in that world and explore. And then we will have interactions as well with different gaming elements. And that's where all that'll just start to build on itself, right? So for us, it's about those building blocks. You got to put in the bones, downloads, dynamic bones. I don't know what that is. Downloads, dynamic bones. What is dynamics? Oh, you got I got to figure out that. I don't know what that is. Download. All right, I'll have to. Is that a program? So that's the thing. Is also so while I am an enterprise architect, I deal mostly with databases, forms, workflows, boring corporate stuff. So as much as a gamer as I am now just ramping up on the technology of understanding the 3D animation side as well as the landscaping mapping, Mapbox, GeoJSON, and 3D rendering of things in Unity, mobile compatibility. So, kind of drinking from the fire hose to make sure that I have all of that information. But that being said, there's a lot of amazing resources out there. The communities, the benefit of what we're building in layer two is that it's all standard now. We've removed all the complexity of like the new technology, and now we're using the existing technology in layer two. So all of the Unity games and the functionalities and things like the Unity assets, or all of that can be leveraged in layer two very easily without having to worry about the complexities of the blockchain because we aren't built on the blockchain. We are built on the existing technology framework, and we are leveraging layer one, who is taking advantage of the blockchain. So much in I can why can you tell I'm already so much not into Unity? I like Unity. I like Unity a lot. I think that it's a very good development platform from everything I've seen. I am definitely new to developing it, but we do. Oh wait, can I? You know what? I can show. I forgot. I could show you guys. I could show you guys stuff. Maybe we'll make this. And this is, not, earth shattering development by any means. Oh, don't use it. Well, I've never used it. So let me be very clear. I've never, prior to this project, I'm not a Unity developer. I am a coder and developer by trade, but not in Unity. However, I'm a pretty quick study. And so, yeah, I'm working with Unity developers themselves. So we have some people that are actually like game developers who are going to be building the base games and stuff like that with us and show us some stuff. All right, calm down, Artifact. All right, thank you. All right. I'm pulling it up. I'm only on one computer. I wasn't planning on, I don't know if you're aware, but Unity it takes a lot of resources, and I'm on my laptop, so it's booting up, and I'm running this, and you're gonna make my computer melt. Actually, not that I'm sponsored by Razer, although I am a huge Razer fan. Anyway, Razer Gaming, shout out to the Razer Gaming laptop that I'm on right now because it is pretty sweet. All right, so it's building my environment. I want to show you. I hope it's still in here. the Xenon atom. So Xenon is going to be the in-game kind of thing that you collect. So we'll have both premium and non-premium currencies. The non-premium currency is going to be Xenon. It is an element starting with an X. I don't know, you guys might have a theme there of X-themed things. That is kind of the Xlander way. We also take off if X is the second letter in a word. You might notice that we will often take off the first letter of that word. That is kind of a naming convention that we are using colloquially. All right, so let me see here. Okay, my environment is loading. This is where I really wish my second screen was working, but okay. All right, hold on. I'm just, you know what? I'll just share with you guys straight because whatever, we're friends. Let's do this. Share screen, window, Unity. Where's my Unity screen here? My project. All right. This is a new version. Okay, I'll update that later. All right. So let's see. Where is my? I think it was Orb Atoms. Yes. This is my Xenon atom that I made. So, and you can see here, like here's tutorials. Still working on it. This is, you know, not necessarily my area of expertise, but I like it. Let's see, game. Uh, so this is just a do I have to tab? Uh-oh. Well, now to be fair, so this is a tutorial game. So I just want to, but like this would be the idea. So something simplistic. I'm thinking, you know, do I have, where's my, see, now I want to put my Xenon atom here. All right, pause. All right. So where are you? And why aren't you on my scene? Okay, hold on. Let me actually keep it on so that way you guys have something to look at when I go back to chat. Where'd you go? Oh my goodness. Oh, there you are. So this is Xenon. This is the atom that I made. I converted and changed some things around, but that's pretty much it. Let's see. Can again, I'm still learning this stuff, but this is our item here. I don't know what you guys think. As a collectible, that's like the thing that'll pop up. I think that's the, yeah. All right, so let me go back to chat real quick. Check on you guys. Let's see. Chris says, what dynamic bones is in Blender. You can see the bones in Unity to attach the hierarchy, set the bones, and create the movement possible. Juggle. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'll check that out. Is that like a plugin or is that like a default? I haven't got into the avatar piece. I'm still just creating digital assets and working with the environments and learning again the basics. It's again, this is why it's super cool because this isn't like, you know, if you're semi interested in it, like I said, I mean, there's a tutorial. I mean, I downloaded this game. It walks through editing things and creating objects. So even if you aren't a gamer or a developer, but you're kind of interested, this is an amazing time right now to be able to take a skill that might be fun to learn and honestly between YouTube and the communities that are around these kind of projects, there's so many resources available that you could easily self teach to create something really basic. Because the beauty of what we're doing, if you think about Upland as a layer one, it is a powder keg, right? It wants to explode. It wants to be more than what it is. But there's nothing. Think of the excitement that people got by having a car race, which is not interactive in any way. You take a car and it just puts it into a fully automated race that you have no control over against 4 or 5 opponents that you don't know or care about. There is no prizes, there are no leaderboards. It is strictly, essentially, you click a button and it runs a video for you. Think about how much of excitement the community was around that, which is fair because there's so much anticipation for utility and gamification. Well, if all we were able to do was to say, make this in an upland environment. So instead of it being these walls here, this was just the streets of Upland, and we're just walking down the street, and we have our Xlander, and we're able to, do some basic interactions or fight or, just battle in the streets of Upland. This would be huge. And again, oh, geez, ah, like, these are simple games. There's nothing complex about this. This is literally a tutorial game. But oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. All of these are basically default assets. And then, oh well, that was rude. You lose. Um, we have the capability of then skinning them with the upland styles and the styles that we want as a community, and that's all going to slowly build value back to layer one. So that's kind of the power of what we're doing. Is we don't have to create, the most complex World of Warcraft level MMO RPG day one, right? So we have really big visions. Ultimately, sure, why not? Why couldn't we get to a World of Warcraft level MMO? That might be a bit of a far piece down the line, but we can take components of that and build it today. We can make individual mini games. We can make fun adventures. We can, even things like idle clickers, dungeon crawlers, things like that are all capable of building that in as a layer two. And then that builds the value of layer one. So every time we create a new meta phase that leverages those assets from layer one, we're creating value for those layer one assets, which is the entire value proposition of layer two. Let's see here. I guess that's a lesson that will come with avatar. Yes. So again, the avatars are still being created. Once I get those avatars, we will start working on the actual bones piece. I would love to one day have our own mocap studio. And then I think it would be super fun to even have guests come in and do some motion capture animations, maybe even stream that live. Because again, the idea here is we want to create a publicly visible, completely transparent gaming studio that's done and built by the community with distributed revenue streams. So let's say that you come in and you do. I wish. Can you like phonically put your name in here? Kuronokos. I might just call you Kuro. Nekos? What do you prefer? Nekos? I might just call you Nekos. So let's say we get the Nekos dance, right? And you come in and we fly in to Dallas and we put you in the mocap suit and we make a video, and we do a whole thing, and you do a fun little Nikos dance, and we put it in the store as a download, right? And we go, hey, this is the Nico dance from our last community event. And every time somebody purchases that, you as the creator of that would get revenue. And taking that one step further for how that ties into layer one is we could then create an NFT and call it the Nico's Dance. And that would be what we're going to call the original asset record, or OAR. And that OAR, which is the layer one NFT, is tied to that in app purchase. And that would be yours for as long as you wanted it. Now, as long as you own it, you get the revenue from that in app purchase. Let's say that you wanted to do a one time sale because it is true ownership. So, right, we're combining true asset ownership with true revenue ownership. So now you have that and decentralization of both of those. So since you have the asset that's tied to the in-app purchase, you could then sell that in the open market, and then you get a one-time sum, and then that person gets that revenue stream for the life of it, right? So that now that NFT, much like a property earns interest, you now have an NFT that will forever earn income based on this in-app purchase. And yeah, over time that might start to fade, but there could be events that then spike that up. We could do special promos to hype it up. You, as Nikos, whoever the owner is, could obviously show it off. Maybe it gets trendy on TikTok, and now all the kids are doing it. It's the next DAP, and lo and behold, your motion capture session just made you a millionaire. How fun is that? Like, that's the kind of future we're creating, where all of these potential revenue streams and opportunities to really generate wealth are being taken from these massive gaming studios and are going to be brought to the people with projects like this. This is Web3. This is why it's different. This is why it matters to people, because we're going to create the future of revenue generation that isn't focused on just a few. It is fully distributed across the community that is contributing content, that is contributing to the project, right? I am very, very excited about it, to say the least. Um, let's see here. NFT, I learned everything from YouTube. Yeah, YouTube is insanely like, why are people going to college anymore? Just go to YouTube. Stay in school, kids, I guess. I honestly don't know. My college education is for another day, but it was not like anything I'm going to brag about. Can we get custom? So, yeah, so the way avatars are going to work specifically, and so I'll give you guys some more details. The plan with the Xlander is I want modular bodies. Long term, this is a long term, this is not a short term goal. Long term, I want modular bodies. So I'm thinking head, torso, legs, arms, hands, feet. So each one of those would be interchangeable parts on your Xlander. So you'll get a foundational Xlander body, but then you can buy and switch out different components to give you an underlying, like, that's like your foundational character. And then obviously then you'll have like armor slots, so you'll be able to have chest wear, head wear, face wear. I have to like go and map out all of the things that you'll be able to essentially equip and wear, and which are going to be visible and which aren't. The idea with all of that would be very personalizable. The foundational, the base Xlander, you'll be able to probably just change the color of like your starting one, and then you'll be able to wear clothes. If you create a Xlander, once we have all of the dimensions and everything exactly figured out, honestly, the short answer is probably no. Like, you'll never probably get like a one of one unless it was like some crazy event. But for the most part, you will be able to customize your Xlander quite a bit. That's going to be one of the core components. And then obviously, Xlander fashion. So, we're going to have a variety from straight fashionable, style, fun. Tail. What do you guys think? Could Xlanders, should that be an accessory item? Is a tail? That's down the line. But that's what I'm talking about. Like, this is going to be really about community, creativity, and fun. So the range of meta phases is going to go from like wacky, silly, social, to really like I do like the idea of having kind of this this edge of hardcore gamers where there are some very high stakes games or some very hardcore difficult games that aren't as straightforward. Like you really need to have the right equipment, kind of thing, to progress into levels. I do want that to be an experience as an Xlander to come in and be able to start fun and social, and then start to discover some of the more advanced stuff. I think that'll be fun. Instead of just the standard, yeah, yeah. So there'll be more Xlander bodies for sure. You need to fly me in or what? I just uh, oh, there you go. You could just put on your full. Yeah, I mean, we could do a cross section. If you already have the utilities, we hook you up and do that. Like that would be super fun. Let's see here. Ty says, plan on going to college once, but once I get to UPX World, Space College, that is. You know what? I love it. We will definitely have some college courses. In addition to, if you haven't heard, we are going to have an Upland style training, which would be like a single player campaign for players who maybe aren't familiar with Upland, who are not yet in Upland, who got to Upland through UPX World. There will be a single player campaign where you will get to play in Upland without having to worry about losing any money. We'll give you fake UPX. We'll let you fly around and send freely, try to mint, understand how deals work and collections, and make sure you get all of the fun before putting you into the game. And there's potentially even scholarships for players there. And then so that's from the player side. From the creator side, I like the idea also of maybe having like a creator school. And I want to do that live with you. I want, when we're doing development, I want to share that. I want to live stream it. it Not secret sauce, right? Like come watch me, mess up Unity for 2 hours if you want. I want to live stream all of that to the community, to have people come in. And, obviously we have people who are familiar with different aspects. We have an amazing community of people. And yeah, let's learn together. Let's walk through it and figure it out. Like it is very doable. We aren't, the beauty of UpX World the beauty of UpX World is we aren't doing anything new. And I know that sounds actually kind of horrible, but none of the things we're doing is net new. All we are doing is taking different components from different things and bringing them together to create a new experience and to create a new platform. And the thing is, this has only recently become an option because of Upland's escrows APIs and their other APIs. So I want to make that very clear. This isn't something that could have been done correctly 6 months ago or a year ago. Like we need it to be where we are now with the technology and the APIs and the access that Upland is now granting to third parties to really be able to accomplish end to end what we want to do with layer 2. So yes, we're gonna learn together, but it's all very learnable. It's all very, very doable. That's the beauty of this. So we will have wearables for the Xlanders. Yes, 100%. There's definitely going to be wearables. There's going to be fashion. We saw jetpacks. So for day one, those are going to be strictly cosmetic. But I don't know if anybody ever played, and it was a shortly lived, and I always forget the name of it. Shoot, the Anthem by EA. And flying around in a jetpack is literally the funnest thing. We could also you could make a web shooting Xlander and, sling between buildings, I suppose. All of that is very doable. Let's see here. Sword Art Online coming to you. It would be cool. Have levels, better stuff. Yes, Sword. I love Sword Art Online. Thank you, NFT Artifact. If you haven't watched it, it's pretty intense. Yes, I very much see this as an opportunity to be like a Sword Art Online. I don't want to be as ostentatious and go, this is Ready Player One. But the reality is, like, that's kind of what we're building. We're building the Oasis. Like, UpX World is very much going to be the Oasis. We are going to be the hub of all of these new virtual worlds that are projections of the layer one. Jetpack here. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be super fun. Uh, Flappy Xlander. Yeah. So again, like this is the beauty, right? Imagine any fun game that you've ever played in your entire life, right? How can we There's two things that we would want to do with those games. One, obviously skin it into an UpX world, upland, or really keep in mind any metaverse, any NFT project. So think of any NFT project and combine that with a game and go, okay, this is what I picture. So that's one. You have to get a style into gaming and a game or game platform or game idea and combine those, right? So that's your foundation of what you want to do. But the difference is because at that point you've just created a new digital game, which is fine and good and awesome, but it's not really what we want to accomplish in layer two. The key is how does that game drive value back to that layer one, right? Is it simply the fact that it is featured in a game and it's super cool? Is there a revenue share opportunity? So, like we talked about before, in the event that, say, somebody owned a building in Upland that then housed a mini game or an arcade, and somebody went there and visited and played an arcade, that house would get a part of the revenue, which then creates passive income for that NFT, which then drives value back to that NFT, right? So as we're building out these games and these functionalities, it's critical to think about how are we driving value back to the NFT. It doesn't necessarily have to be with additional passive income either. It could simply be the fact that this art is represented in these games. An artist could say design a skin of buildings and have a meta phase that's just their buildings with the skins, and maybe their art is all around, and it is like an interactive digital canvas for them, right? But their canvas is upland. So now they are creating value for themselves by showing off their art and their style and maybe creating a social meta phase that their friends can come and see a gallery or interact. But then they are also subsequently driving value to those properties, right? Now, likely they own those properties, that neighborhood that they're creating. So they buy all these properties, build, create a meta phase with their art, invite people. Now they're elevating their art and they're adding value to these layer one assets that they also own or that other people own. So that's where this really shifts from just having like the two separate camps. Right now we have these fun digital games that are siloed that don't really, interact with anything, and you just kind of play them and have fun, which is great. And then you have these like asset NFT projects, dApps, where you're buying, selling, trading assets and lots of money, and there's lots of excitement, but there's nothing really to fun do here. And then UpX World is that middle. We are the cream in an Oreo. Oh, I like that. We are the cream in the Oreo, right? If the Oreo cookies are gaming and NFTs, UpX World is that delicious cream center that brings it all together. And we aren't a cookie. We aren't just a gaming studio. We aren't just NFTs. We are that delicious cream that makes it all worth it. I like that analogy a lot. And now I want Oreos. So that is the vision. So I hope that you enjoyed this morning's session. Showed a couple different things. We get to see the Xenon atom that I'm working on, which I think is super cool. That'll be so one of the first games. So I'm actually in the process of writing a contract now for the first game, and I'm happy to kind of talk about that in our last moments here. Oh, thank you. Much appreciated. I much appreciate you guys joining me today. So I will tell you the first game that we'll have a contract for, and you guys will see a bounty for it. Maybe even today. You guys are kind of getting me motivated now. Like even more, I'm obviously very, very motivated. But you guys are kind of getting me excited. I appreciate you coming in. The interactivity is really, really important. It keeps me on track to do this. And so I'm going to tell you guys in our last couple minutes the first game bounty. It is for a fairly rudimentary game. It's going to just be a game that renders a single plot of land, right? So it's going to take the dimensions of any property inside of Upland, create that property. So that'll be the boundaries of the map, so to speak. And then the building. So if it has a building, and it has to have a building for this purpose, the building will be rendered there, right? So the map floor is the property. Then you have the building. Your Xlander will be there. Your Xlander will be able to walk around, and periodically those xenon atoms that I showed you will appear, right? So it's not going to be anything crazy. You just walk around, collect the xenon, but you'll be on an upland property with a building. You'll be able to collect the xenon, and then you'll be able to also go into the house. So we want to make the house interactive. So you go into the house, you can walk around the house. There might be some minimal decorations there to start with, and Xenon will pop up to give you kind of just something to do, and it'll be just to collect Xenon, and I'll tell you why that's important later. But that's going to be the first real game, and the purpose of that is to show the opportunity for personal metaphases. And the personal metaphases, I think, are going to be one of, at least for me, one of the most exciting features, because a personal metaphase is going to be your home in Upland. So when you designate a home, like we saw in Vegas, that's a feature that's coming. You can go, this is my home, it's here, it's my neighborhood. When you designate that, UpX World will create you a personal metaphase, which is going to be a copy of that property. Boom. You get that plot of land, whatever the building is, because you have to have a building on it. Now you have a personal metaphase. In that personal metaphase, you'll be able to decorate it with in-app purchases. You'll be able to go into the home. You'll be able to put up all your NFT work. You'll be able to walk around it with your Xlander. You'll be able to invite friends over. If a friend visits any of your properties in Upland, so they don't have to visit just your home, we'll allow it so that they can visit any of your properties, and there'll be a list that'll say, here's the last 5 properties you visited. And if they have a personal metaphase that you're able to visit, you'll be able to visit that through UpX World. You got to go socialize. Think of like The Sims, right? So you have a property, a piece of land, a building, and you'll be able to interact through that. And so that's really going to be one of the first kind of mini games, is creating that single place, the interaction, to show proof of concept of 1, the Xlander, 2, the Xenon, 3, generating a 3D world based on Upland. So I think as a proof of concept, that is going to be a critical piece. And so actually, I'm going to put out the bounty. You guys convinced me. I'm going to put out the bounty today for it, and yeah, start working on that. Let's see here, 5 minutes. So let's see. So this will introduce Xenon as a currency after the first phase. Yeah, so Xenon is the currency of UpX World, in the sense of that's your non-premium. The only way, well, for now, the only way to get it is collecting. I haven't decided if you'll be able to purchase it or not. A lot of games have like a conversion. So you have a premium and a non-premium currency. I'm not messing with anything on the premium currency side for now. The quote unquote premium currency of UpX World for the time being will be UpX. Just straight up UpX, because when you play games, when you pay things, that we'll be using the Upland escrow that I've mentioned to escrow in UpX. And then that will go into your UpX World account. And then that'll be what you kind of use as your premium currency. And then the non-premium is the Xenon. So yes, you'll be collecting it. For the first phase, it'll just be fun. But then Oh, you guys are lucky. So then we got a couple minutes left. We're going to do the first. And now I'm a little because I'll be honest, you guys, if you're in a city, if you have a favorite city, I would start gathering your forces because now that I remember there, Maze, and I don't know that Maze is here in this session today, but they are working on like a Queens collective or some craziness where all the neighborhoods and all the nodes in Queens are getting together. But what I'm going to tell you is that there's going to be an event once we get the first couple games where Xlanders are going to go collect Xenon. So it's just kind of like the alpha testing of just like walking around in our games and collecting Xenon. And then you will use that, you will donate that Xenon to power the large metaphase generator that's going to essentially generate all of the metaphases, right? But as you donate them, you're going to designate it against one of the upland cities. So it's going to be the first ever city versus city challenge where it's not neighborhood versus neighborhood. So you actually are going to have to work in conjunction with all the neighborhoods in your city to collect the Xenon and to donate it. And then at the end of that event, whatever city has collected the most Xenon will get the first city specific metaphase. So that will be very cool. They will be awarded with essentially, we will work to develop the first city metaphase with those leaders. There will be prizes for top donators to each city and things like that. So there's going to be lots of fun things we'll do about that. And so that will be later this year. But definitely the goal would be to get that in by 2022 to have that kind of main event, the city versus city. So I'm very excited about that. Obviously, spoiler, I will be cheering for San Francisco. I don't know. I probably won't take place because I feel like that's not that wouldn't be fair. I won't play myself because it would be way too tempting to just be like generate Xenon. Boop, 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 boop. So yeah, I won't participate in that particular event. Um, yeah, but I am looking forward to. I'm a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons, so the idea of dungeon masters. So one of the other things, and this will be the last one. Although this last like segment has been full of juicy nuggets. Um, what up? Welcome. Um, I am one of the things I'm most looking forward to is kind of this dungeon master. Can you say meta master? Is that a? It sounds weird. Meta master, meta god sounds too. Anyway, we'll have to think of something because like dungeon master, could you be a meta master? Um, Maybe. Well, maybe I'll think about it. I'll think on that. But anyway, you as the meta master over a meta phase, right? So you could have an adventure, and then you can, potentially spawn enemies or spring traps. Tell a story. Maybe have some adventures walking through the streets of San Francisco, and then you kind of have like a top-down view, and you can see them and interact and kind of generate a story that way. I think that would be super fun. I like those kind of games where it allows for players to play, and then you kind of have like somebody who's controlling the environment or helping, do a storyline. That'd be fun. Meta King, we'll work on that. Let's workshop that. Meta Master, Meta what? All right. Well, that is all for me this beautiful Saturday morning, July 30th. Thank you all for joining. I'll be over in Discord um, if you want to chat more, talk more about what we call this key holder to the meta phase. That's what they are. The key holder. Well, let's think on that because I think we can find a fun term for that, and we're going to start collecting all this stuff and putting it in as part of our backlog. Again, the whole idea of this project is to be super transparent and make it part of the community. So we do want to collect these and put them into a backlog. But that's going to do it. I could do this all day, and I got to be diligent. Yes, I'm going to leave. All right. Thank you. I'll be on Discord if anybody wants to chat more. I really appreciate everyone. You enjoy your Saturday. Until next time, this is Thank Me Later saying, stay safe, Xlanders.